Duryodhana ran like the earth was chasing him, and then the earth decided to finish the job. The air around Kurukshetra tasted like old vows and unsaid prayers. The war's shadow was already thick, even when swords were not swinging. Somewhere off-screen, the Pandavas and Kurus were a wound that wouldn't close. Tension stretched so tight that even silence felt sharp. Balarama stood apart from it all, a witness more than a participant. The teacher of mace fighting, the elder who loved fairness even when fairness had no place left to stand. His eyes held a tired kind of clarity, as if he could already see the ending in the beginning. And Duryodhana, proud, stubborn, burning, carried his rage the way some men carry perfume. Everyone smells it, no one can ignore it. He had trained, fought, schemed, begged for legitimacy through power. He wanted the world to admit, "You were right." But the world kept refusing, and refusal does something dangerous to a heart that worships itself. He stood on a patch of ground that looked ordinary, dry, hard, unremarkable, the kind of earth you trust without thinking. Balarama watched him, perhaps with pity, perhaps with disappointment, perhaps with that quiet grief of a mentor watching a student choose darkness again and again. Duryodhana's chest rose and fell fast. His hands clenched. His mind was full of names: Bhima, Krishna, the laughter in that glass hall that never truly stopped echoing. He took a step, as if to move toward his next act of defiance. And the world changed texture. Not slowly, not with warning. The spectacle came clean and terrifying. The ground liquefied like mud glass. Not a pit opening, not a crack splitting, just solid earth turning suddenly soft, glossy, swallowing. Duryodhana's foot sank, then his ankle, then his shin. He jerked back, panic flashing across his face, raw, unroyal, human. He reached for balance, for traction, for anything that would tell him reality was still his ally. But the earth didn't negotiate. He sank straight down, upright, as if the world was calmly filing him away. His knees disappeared, his thighs, his waist. His arms flailed once, the way a drowning man forgets pride. The air tore out of his throat, not a battle cry, not a command, just the sound of someone realizing there is a power that doesn't care about status. Balarama's eyes widened. He stepped forward instinctively, teacher, elder, witness, wanting to stop it. But what do you grab when the enemy is the ground itself? Duryodhana's chest sank, his shoulders, his neck. For one last second, his face remained above the surface. And in that second, everything was written there. Anger, disbelief, the bitter shock that after all his planning, his end could be so simple. Then, gulp. A single clean swallow. He vanished. And the earth became earth again. No hole, no crater, no broken edge, just ripples on solid ground, as if a stone had been dropped into a pond made of dust. The silence afterward was unbearable. Not dramatic like a funeral, more like the stunned quiet after a truth lands. Balarama stood still, his hala resting against his shoulder, his breath slow. He had seen mighty men fall in combat. He had seen pride meet consequence. But this was different, because it wasn't Bhima who defeated Duryodhana in that instant. It wasn't Krishna's strategy. It wasn't a mace. It was the earth itself saying, "Enough." And that is the sacred fear hidden in this episode. Sometimes Dharma doesn't arrive as a speech or a scripture. Sometimes it arrives as gravity, as ground, as the basic laws of being, refusing to hold someone who has become too heavy with adharma. So if you're tempted to live on ego alone, remember Duryodhana. The earth supports everyone, until the day it decides you are no longer worth carrying.